So welcome, I'm Robin Lysne, and the guides are active, let me tell you. They've been active all day. So I'm going to set the space for us and draw a circle of light and healing. Make this a safe and healing place for all of us, calling on all my guides and spirits and all of yours for a mutual highest and wisest good, and so it is. So those of you that are unfamiliar, this is Yogananda and Anandamoya Ma, who are my teachers and friends. And they were friends, and Yogananda is my teacher now. And he died and left the body. Actually, his Mahasamadhi, which is celebrated today, which is when he left his body in 1952 on this very day. So it's auspicious that we're doing this today.
Yeah.
And Anandamoya Ma passed away in the 80s, I believe, or in the 90s. But she was the embodied divine mother, and she was an amazing soul, and still radiates love even today. So. Most of you know me, but I'm a medium and a channel, and I've done this work for many years now. Channeling for the last at least 15 to 16 years, I think, since 2001, 2004, something like that. Can't remember anymore. And a lot of the work I do is all brought through me. So everything I've done in the last 30 years has been guided. And so this is one more thing that I do that's guided. I still, even after all these years, still have resistance. So today I was really resisting this, and I have no idea why, but something in me is like, not sure. So maybe we'll find out. I think perhaps it has to do with the times we're in, the tumultuous times and the virus and all this political stuff and so on, but we'll find out. So we've already set the space and drawn a circle, and I'm going to go into a bit of a trance. I'm a conscious channel, so I'm awake during the time the channeling's happening. I'm just back here somewhere and watching it and observing it and listening. So usually I remember what's been happening, but recording it will help me get it out to more people, and the messages seem to be important at this time. So all I ask is that you just stay in your seats while I'm bringing them in and letting them out. I, WuLan.
Hello.
Very nice to see you all. I see Robin is all set for Star Woman today, but I've come in to give information as to why the resistance is occurring at this time, not just for Robin, but for all of you. So I am WuLan, originally a mountain, and 2 insignificant lifetimes, and then I was a Tibetan 800 years ago, as many of you know, where I was helped by Robin, and now I come to help her. So this is what we are doing here. I wish to share that this time we are in is a flipped over time. We are just ending Mercury retrograde, which goes direct tomorrow. And what that means is that the things have felt backwards, and then they will move and flow in a better forward momentum coming in the next few days. Now, right now, the change has not quite occurred, but there is kind of a flipping over of issues, things, and processes. So the flip is evident in the politic. You will notice, a week ago, before Tuesday, there was was a strong surge in one direction, and then all of a sudden it has flipped into a new direction. The same will happen on many other public fronts. You will find us moving in one direction, suddenly turning and going this way. Now, why is that? We are in a time when the changes are bringing up people's fears and for purification. And that is necessary because fear is what holds us in bodies and in the existence of karma. It is fear and anger that exacerbate karma. And only love and forgiveness can release that karma. And so we must pay attention to our fears and angers. So we are actually in a blessed time because it is a time when massive fear is arising and you can choose to follow that fear, or you can choose not to. So it is very important that you pay attention to what is true for you. And as I mentioned a few weeks ago in a channeling we did at your homes, we have understood that the main thing is keeping centered in your spine, in your love column, in that column of your own consciousness. That's the first thing. The second is to stay grounded as much as you can. And the third is to turn off the TV when it gets too much. The fourth is to go dancing. Enjoy your life. You are here to grow in consciousness and to enjoy life. Those are the two primary things you're here to do. It is that easy. It is that simple.
No.
It is that simple. But what it is that is hard to understand is why is there so much suffering? If that's what our job is, why is there so much suffering? Why do you think? Why do you think there is suffering on this planet?
People are taking on lessons?
Yes, lessons are part of it. Choices are another.
They're living in fear?
Yes, people living in fear. I beg your pardon?
They don't know who they are.
Exactly. Very good. They do not know who they are. And that is what this earth has sacrificed herself to do, is to help people evolve to their God consciousness. What an amazing gift this Mother Earth gives us. She tolerates anything and everything that will wake people up. And whether that is a war or trauma, or whether that is karmic doo-doo that people have to figure out, people do not know who they are, and that is why they choose negative behaviors. But as you wake up to who you are, to your God consciousness, to your divine abilities and your divine sense of self, you become awake. And in that awakening, you would not want to harm a flea or eat one either. You would not want to harm a flea. So as we are evolving, we are at the time when here comes the old Yuga, that is the Kali Yuga, and we are now in the Dwapara Yuga, and the Dwapara Yuga is raising of consciousness. But we have come out of this very dark time, several hundred years, close to 1,500 years of war, suppression, horrific lessons. And now it's time to end that. But who benefits from all that negative karma? Those who don't want to wake up. those who refuse, or refuse that they are God consciousness, you see. That's what happens. So, consequently, they are the ones resisting the most because they have, in their perception, the most to lose. They have the most money, they have the most power, and they have the most, what they think of as influence. But, as a Buddhist brother said once, their next life, they may be a king this time and they will be an ant next time. Or a worm, you see, taking the worm out of the hole and taking it, oh, that may be my grandmother, you see. So as you begin to understand that all life is connected, and that we have actually different levels of consciousness here through the animal kingdom, and also through the consciousness of humans, all kinds of people from all different zodiacs are here on this planet. From the most base, challenging personalities to the most saintly. The thing that's important to know is it's your choice. What is your choice? And what do you choose to do with your one precious life? That is the question.
Saranati.
Excuse me?
Saranati. Surrender.
Surrender, yes.
I choose to surrender.
Yes, surrender. Surrender to that which you are. And that brings up resistance. The more you claim your God nature, the more is required of you. That is the reality. Now, I will speak to those beings that Robin has on the dais here. Anandamoya Ma was thought to be a very crazy young woman. Her parents did not understand her, and so they decided to marry her off to a man who thought her to be very beautiful. And as she has told in her biographies, on their wedding night, as he touched her, he realized she was the Divine Mother. Mm-hmm. And he bowed to her and said, I am here to serve you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And from that moment on, he took care of her, he organized her events and so on, and also allowed her to give her the space she needed to be who she was, to expand in who she was. So very often, this is getting to the topic tonight, which is, are you a star seed? The star seeds are those that carry more light than others. They come in born with that light. Now, you can develop that light and choose to be a star seed. And a star seed is one who knows of their origins. They may even remember their past lives. They may even know that they are here to be a divine channel for God consciousness. And she knew that, and she was telling people that. The same is true for Amma. Amma, who is a living saint today. Amma was thought to be a crazy young girl who was rebelling from her parents, and what she was trying to say to them is, I am the Divine Mother. And I know, and she would go around hugging people in her village that were sick. And her parents thought she was crazy. You know, what are you doing? You're hugging that old, dirty old man. And she would hug him and he would get better. And so she became known as the hugging saint. And to this day, she hugs thousands of people that come to her in one day. Mm-hmm. People come day after day. They come one after the other, after the other, after the other. She hugs them. She gives them what's called darshan in the Hindu traditions. And she permeates them with divine love. Thousands of people. She'll be up till 4 a.m. Everyone else is asleep, and she's still hugging people. This one has witnessed that many times. And Amma is a great, great soul. Yogananda, his mother died when he was a young boy. And he was about 6 or 8 years old. And she died in another town. And her spirit came to him and said, "Your mother now is Divine Mother. And I am no longer here." And he knew that she had died, and diphtheria or something. And so Divine Mother came to him. And from that moment on, he felt loved and cared for by the Divine Mother. So it is important to know he knew he had a purpose. She knew she had a purpose. And each of you will have your own purpose in your own way, which may or may not make you a starseed. The starseed is a term today that is recognizing that you are bringing light in. But if you recognize what Robin is doing right now is something unusual and sacred, then you are of that ilk, you see. Because what is important to know is that light is here for you to transform. I come in to help bring in more light to Robin's form so that she can serve more people. That is the purpose of it. Now, is that an easy task? Not necessarily. It is challenging. And hence the resistance that she may experience at times. And she's getting more information about her future and where she's to be going and what she's to be doing. And that is challenging. And none of it will happen right away, but it's an unfolding process, you see. So every once in a while, you get a glimpse of what you're here to do. Do you not? Anyone have that? You get a glimpse of what you're supposed to be doing.
I'm getting in it right now.
Yes, good, good. And in that glimpse, you get pictures. And those pictures help you to understand your purpose. And then it is up to you to make the steps happen through surrendering to that purpose, to allow the divine to work through you. And as a starseed, as one who has divine purpose, then you have to trust what it is you're guided to do. Yes. Sometimes it's a matter of speaking to someone who you forgot the name of them, you see. This is what happened to Robin today. She was at a poetry reading. A very dear friend of hers had a new book come out. So she went to Cabrillo and was there, and this woman who Robin did not recognize, did not know her name, and she goes, "Oh, I have met you many times, Robin." And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And so later she went to apologize to her for not knowing who she was. "Oh, yes, we were at the Crow's Nest dancing a few weeks ago." It was like, Robin did not remember. And but then they began to start a conversation, and then Robin said, "Well, I'm going to have to go because I have an event tonight." And she said, "Oh, what are you doing?" Robin pulled out a flyer. She goes, "Oh, you do this? I need this. I won't be able to come tonight, but I really want to come to another event of yours." So she may be at the next event up in your home. So it is like that, guided to talk to the right person that will give you the information you need to get to the right place. So allow yourselves the synchronicity of the universe, because the universe is working for you and with you.
The environment is your friend.
Yes, yes. Divine timing, divine order, yes, it is your friend. Yes. So, I am hearing the knock of Star Woman. Are there any questions you would like to share or comments?
Big picture question, why are we getting this virus in the world at this time?
Well, that's a very good question. So what is it doing? If you pull back from the panic and all the mayhem, what is this virus doing?
Putting everybody on the same level.
Putting everyone on the same level, yes. And what else is it doing?
Is remind us of our mortality.
Correct. It's reminding us of our mortality.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter accident.
Yes,
He's a millionaire, famous
yes,
person. Everybody's crying.
yes.
Not because Kobe Bryant, it's because they remind them of their own mortality.
Correct. Doesn't matter how much money you have, or whether you can fly in helicopters, or whether you have property, or you're the most famous basketball star in history. Doesn't matter. You're immortal. Now, the truth is, you are not mortal. You are immortal. But in order to get to your immortality, you must recognize your mortality. That this is a limited place where you come in for lessons, and then you can go out.
Mortality is your best friend.
Along with surrendering, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mortality is a good friend.
He's a good friend. He occurs to everything in every part of the whole cosmos.
You are a part of everything in the cosmos, that's correct. Yes. Very good. Welcome, so glad to have you tonight. You're bringing a great deal of wisdom.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So, it is teaching humanity group lessons, and it is not done yet. It is also giving people an understanding of what's important above the trade wars and the immigration issues, and above all of that, you see. Who are on the cruise ships? They are primarily rich white people who can afford to go on the cruise ships, you see, or people that have a certain income level above, poverty for sure. Now that isn't true for everybody. Some people save and save and save and, are going for their anniversary or something. But what's important to understand is it is these cruise ships that are being held off the coast, you see. They're a certain pocket of people, but they're primarily have wealth, have some kind of wealth in order to go on those cruise ships. So it is also showing humanity, everyone is vulnerable. And that is a very important thing. Because otherwise people can think that their money is going to protect them from death. Does not. Does not. But death is a transition, just like everything else.
But at the same time, the fear that's come up is for all of us to look at and
Correct. And release.
release.
Yes. And you can see it in people. At this reading, there were probably 50 people there. And some were willing to hug and others were not. They were elbow bumping, or they were doing this or that or whatever. And these are all very good friends, you see. Most of them know each other. And but the ones that didn't care about the virus or didn't feel that it was going to be on them or what, they just hugged each other anyway. So the important thing to know is that your fear, as it comes up, needs to be released and purified. You see, it needs to be released and purified. And so that, what does that mean? We have to look at it and love it. That's the best way to release it, to love it, and it will dissolve. What a marvelous thing. You can dissolve your fears. It is the best way. Okay, now Star Woman is really knocking on the head. So I shall depart, but it is a great honor to be with you all. Namaste. Hello.
Hello.
Ah, there it is. by a star woman. Feel the love of the universe. So let's imagine we can put the fear of the world right here in between us all. And we can send it love. The love that is healing, that dissolves that fear. We can imagine as starseeds, as those who know they have light and that they are here to express that. That is what a starseed is. It is one who knows they are divine and that they carry a good deal more light because they know that. Self-realization is about realizing who you really are. That's it. And once you know, then your service really begins. But that doesn't to say it invalidates anything else you've ever done. No, because whatever you've done with love is service to all. Whether it's bringing forth children or grandchildren or supporting this or supporting that, if you are doing it with love, you are doing it in divine order. So imagine the world right here in front of us. And now let us say the word that gives all hearts an opening. And we'll imagine that fear melting. And that is Om, the name of God, divine love. So together let's Om, Om, But I perceives the earth rising. This is something you can do every day. Imagine the earth on your altar, in your heart, sending love to it. Because the mother, the divine mother that is seated in the earth, is my presence. And what she knows is she is here to transform people. And we are at a turning point where the disrespect for her body and her being is over now. And we must transform to own the divinity that you walk upon, as well as your own bodies. And those who are not willing to do that, well, they will have fear. They will have trepidation, and they may have a transition to in front of them, you see. We are meeting people here who are willing to work for the divine consciousness of love. And hopefully all of you are here to do that. Mm-hmm. Yes, very important. Now, some spirits don't know they are love. And they get preoccupied with dark forces. Well, I will tell you something about dark forces. They are 90% imagination and 10% souls who cannot claim their own divinity. There are very few beings in this planet or in the universe who are truly evil. And what does evil mean anyway? Live spelled backwards. It is just those who are anti-life. So you can recognize it in others quite easily, those that are anti-life, anti-other human beings, anti-oppressing others, disregarding of them for oil platforms or borders. That is the true evil. That is what denies life a chance. Do you know that on this blessed planet, I'm blessing myself now, and the blessing, of course, the darkness behind the stars, that there is enough food to feed everyone here on this planet? What is lacking?
kindness.
Kindness and the will of the people to distribute it properly so that everyone is fed every day. That simple act of feeding others is the most generous thing you can do for other people. So where is the will to help the entire planet as one family? That is the consciousness we are moving to. And the virus that so much fear is creating is that it is giving people an opportunity to see we are really and truly one family, and we must move in that direction, you see. We must move into the consciousness of unity consciousness. How can we do this together? Now I will say that this human consciousness, this human capacity for transformation is real. It is real. And it can change. It can change. So, that is part of the gift of this virus. The gift is to show humanity that you are one. And then to help those that need the food in the right places. And we are not talking about manufactured fake cheese. We are talking about nutritious food that can be digested by people everywhere around the world. There just is a lack of will to get it there. So the human beings need to begin to understand this priority list of how to transform, how to become a starseed, how to become divine love. And the first thing is to treat everyone equally. And then to feed the planet. And then to stop disregarding this earth. And then to clean it up. Those are 4 priorities in that order that you can begin to do right now today. Then let's educate people, support people, because those who are educated are less likely to fall into fear traps. Although education can also open up fear traps. But you have to recognize that fear is a lower consciousness that is all about survival, where love is about transcendence. So transcend. Send love to your fears. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of life. Life is a beautiful thing. Now, in the beginning, tonight, before you started this event and Robin began to channel, what were you talking about? Bears. Bears. You were talking about bear stories. Yes? There are many, many stories about my divine bears. Because they can walk on 2 legs. They choose not to most of the time, but they can. And what else are they? They have 4 paws. They have great intelligence. And they're very protective. But they are also walking, living radiation of healing capability. Bears are healers.
Really?
So when a bear, in the native tradition, when Robin was dancing in Sundance and Ikichida and all these dances, the bear robes would come out, and those who were ill would get a bear robe over them. And they would sit in meditation with that and feel the transformation from the skin of the bear. And then they would go to the tree and they would pray. And people had leukemia and cancer and all kinds of ailments, heart disease. Some were children, some were families. And so these children and people would sit in the bear robes. And then they would go to the tree of life together in the ceremony. And they would find incredible transformations occurring. So bears are healers. Now imagine that the animals are not just beings that have less brain than humans, but that each one of them brings in a particular quality. And if you think of them, eagles, for instance, have better eyesight by 20, 30 times than the human. And they bring in a perspective for humanity of that which sees above. And the ant, little tiny things, brings in the perspective of that which crawls on the earth. You see, each one has its quality. It's a good soul understanding. So the animals can teach you. They can teach you about yourselves. What a great thing. So I wish you to understand that all of life is here to contribute to consciousness. Bears are healers. Ants are also have some purpose there. See, every creature has a purpose. It holds an energy. It holds a consciousness. And so who is it to judge them or to wipe them out or to destroy them? You see, the environments for many of these creatures are leaving now, and that's very sad. But from my perspective, it is all a choice. People have a choice about this. And as starseeds, you can make an influence and impact others with your choices. And that's what I wish to bring to awareness, that choices can direct your light and your love over fears and angers. See? Do you have questions? Comments? Thoughts? What do your animals tell you? You have animals, some of you?
He tells me they know how to take care of themselves.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And human beings don't know how to take care of themselves. And they call themselves to be intelligent
Yes.
and superior than animals.
Yes.
And they don't even know whether they need to eat or whether they need to stop eating
Yes.
or whether they need to go to rest
Yes.
or whether they need to go to stretch.
Yes. It's very funny, is it not? Here, the most intelligent creature on the planet doesn't know how to take care of itself. And it can learn a great deal from animals, because the animals know. They have that instinct. The instinct is not a bad thing. It is not a primitive thing. It is a survival gift given by divine creation.
But that's what we communicate to survive, not to deceive.
Yes.
We communicate to survive, not to deceive,
Yes.
not to create a separate elitist position
Yes.
by semantics,
Yes. That's right.
but to remember the divinity and the glory of the light
Yes.
that we are.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Say we
Yes.
all are.
Yes.
And when they talk about the sea, is we are all the sea. We cannot become something other than what we already are.
That's right. Yes.
So it's a self-discovery means it's been there all along.
Yes, that's right.
There's nothing. Becoming, you become a doctor, or you can become an artist, or you can become this and that, but who you are, you cannot become it. You
Yes.
just have to be it.
Yes, exactly. Very good. Being yourself, being who you truly are, being your authentic self is being your divine consciousness. And what it requires is to release all of the small and little identities that you have with other parts of yourself that you are not. Oh, I'm not very good at that. Oh, hush, hush, of course you are. You have to work at it. You have to try on another project. You have to move beyond your fear of it. You have to move beyond your disregard of yourself.
It's like being so interesting into what is not, and put all the marbles in what is absent, and forget the obvious thing.
Yes. Yes. So it requires self-identity in your authentic nature, requires surrender to that authentic nature.
That's why surrender is tricky, because okay, we have to surrender. It sounds like surrender.
Yes,
But then surrender, it sounds so negative. It's the more positive.
yes, it is positive.
It's like when we are healthy, nothing hurts.
Yes,
It's when we get a pain or something that we remember.
yes,
Oh, we have a head. Oh, we have a stomach.
yes. So now I would like you to receive. I would like you to open your hearts so that you can receive the light of the universe, which is your own divine consciousness, opening up, waking up in you. It is raining love all the time. It is coming out of the earth. It is pouring down on top of you from the sun, from the stars, from the moon. Just receive it. Open to it. And honor it. Because it is your own divine consciousness. It is all that you are being reflected in. Yes.
Simultaneously,
Yes.
everything is conscious.
Yes, everything, yes, you're right. Everything is consciousness. So receive now, and this one is bringing in more light for you. And this is what a teacher does. This is why Robin has teachers, because she knows she isn't of the highest consciousness, but she is willing to surrender to it. And they have been a few steps ahead. The creative life force of divine consciousness is your essence. Creative, divine consciousness of your life force is your essence. That means you can create anything you wish. And yes, will it take work and blood and sweat and tears? Perhaps. But you can get there if you wish. If you feel that desire is backed by your own guidance, go for it.
It's a lot of work.
It is, yes.
It's a responsibility.
It's a huge
With
responsibility.
awareness and clarity,
Yes.
it doesn't get easier.
No.
It gets busy.
It gets busier, yes. But it can also get quieter.
Yes.
Sometimes you must take time to be quiet in yourself so you can hear what the divine is trying to say to you and the direction it's trying to move you in. There is no difference between these beings and the divine one that is coming through this one now and your own selves. The only difference is your own thoughts about it. And especially the ones that put you down or that elevate you beyond. Those are the thoughts of your ego that you must be careful of. So you have to put your foot on that part of you, recognize, oh, there's that part again that wants to put me down and say that I'm no good, or I'm not enough, or I can't do it, or I'm too small.
I think to me we need real education. And real education is to be discerned with clarity.
Yes,
Which is what is what,
yes,
in order to navigate in the infinite consciousness.
yes,
If we don't have the real education, then we're in big trouble.
yes,
Artificial trouble, because it goes away anyway, because the consciousness is merciful.
yes, yes,
And sooner or later, like this so-called whatever happens, to bring back who we are and gathering like this one,
yes,
we remembering and find our original position.
correct. Yes. And all that you have to release has to do with the lives you've had in the past. So as you release whatever is in front of you now that you resist, then you are releasing the past and the past lives that have held you back from your own divine consciousness. And the way to help yourself and the way to move yourself into more of your authentic nature is to forgive that past.
I can
Forgive yourself.
give you this example. Apparently I come from another country, apparently I'm a man, apparently I'm brown, apparently I have an accent, apparently, but I used to let those things play because I was irresponsible of me.
Yes,
The moment I drop all these assumptions,
yes,
everything drops.
yes, correct. Exactly.
I change. I didn't ask the world to change in that respect. I just change me.
Yes, very good, very good. And when you do that, you allow yourselves to dissolve your fears and those things that hold you back, your judgments, your assumptions
Yeah.
of where you are. I only have so much money, I can't give it to people. I only have this much, I can't do very much because I'm old, or I'm too young, or I might have to move, or I might have to do something else, you see. All of those are just limitations that when you surrender them and you say, oh, show me where you want me to be, and I'll be there as long as you want me to be. And then I'll go wherever else you want me to go. Then you will be given the resources, the support, the money, the ideas and the ideals, and you will find yourself in the next place. And it will be an effortless transition. Yes. So the minute that Robin will give you an example, the minute she released her past relationship, many years ago now, and said, show me what you want me to do. Someone said, why don't you come live with me for a while? And it was a friend of hers across the bay. She lived there for several years. Was laying in the pool house one day. This woman has a lot of property and pool house. Robin's laying in the pool house going, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do next. And this thought came into her head, go back to school. So she went back to school a year or so later. And of course the transition kept going because her sister passed, things fell away. And then when it was time for her, after she was done, she came back here and she was given a lovely apartment. And when it was time to move again, she did. And when she moved again, there she was in her new place. And all of it flowed exactly as it should, because she was in the divine flow. She surrendered to it. And in the process, she gathered her doctorate and her master's degree and all the things she needed to move forward with better writing and better communication and better healing capabilities. So as you trust and surrender, you will be given the things you need. But you see, our little self says, oh, that's too scary. I can't possibly do that, because if I do, then I'll have to move or do this or do that. Well, you never know. Perhaps there'll be funding that'll come in, or a grant, or something else will happen. Who knows? And you don't know, and if you let go, then the universe can give you the possibilities of where you're to be and what you're to do. Same with traveling, you see. If you're supposed to be somewhere, be a part of that, you will be. So, my message tonight is to bring in your divine nature, like it always is. The same message over and over, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Bring your divine nature in, your authentic self, and listen to your blueprint. Listen to the blueprint your star essence is bringing in for you. And then move in that direction. Those people in your lives that may be irritating, they're helping you grow. Those people that are helping you in your life that you have to let go of, you will let go of. Those that you want in your life, you will bring, they will not leave, they will not let you go. See, they will not let go of the love that you have. Because either you've made a commitment or that's what you're supposed to do, and they are bound to you somehow. And the karma isn't done. So you have to trust. You have to trust your path. And know that what's important is that you keep showing up as your divine self in love. The more you can show up in love, the better off you will be. It doesn't mean it's easy.
That's who you are.
That's who you are. You have to show up as who you are.
Yeah, so if you want to play piano, you have to practice the scale.
Yes, that's exactly right. It takes practice. Yes, exactly right. It's very good. Look at these beautiful flowers.
Mm-hmm.
How amazing they are. These are actual, real orchids.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they exquisite? And camellias. These were on an altar in a church today, the church of Yogananda's.
Mm.
So they've already been blessed. And you may take one if you wish to take home and put on your tables. And I bless them again, because today is a very important day. It is the day that some of you will awaken to who you really truly are, and claim it and not be afraid of it. And whatever resistance you have, you can send in front of you and hold like a bowl of flowers and send love to it. So these flowers can be a reminder to you to let yourself blossom. There is nothing that's scary out there that is going to prevent you anymore from blossoming. But some of you have cellular memory of a time when you tried to blossom and others blocked you. But that is not the case in this time. That is another reason for the virus. It's distracting, so people can open to their fuller selves. See, they can bring up the fear, let it go, bring it up, let it go, and then they can blossom to a bigger consciousness than they have been in the past.
Yeah, there's the theory of the Gestalt.
Yes.
So you go, I'm here.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's like collective hypnosis
Yes.
going on. So we when it snap, life is a flinty,
Spark,
spark,
yes,
floss.
yes.
Can miss it.
So now I wish you to spend the last few minutes just receiving that light. You might wish to put your feet flat on the floor and just open your heart and lift your head and bring in the light. Bring in your own light and feel the divine love flowing through you, through this one that is here to support that light and that love. Namaste. So Archangel Gabriel is also here. He does not want to come in, but he wants to share that he's announcing a new beginning. And that new beginning is here for each and every one of you. And anyone who listens to this. That the new beginning can begin with this moon, this full moon, right now, tonight, tomorrow night. And just allow yourself to lay on your altar any fears, give them over, turn them over. Turn them over to your own authentic nature. Divine in you wants you to give them that which is afraid so it can love it. That which is angry so it can heal the anger. Just give it over. I'm opening up the circle of light and healing and giving thanks for what's been offered or what's been received, knowing that as we heal ourselves, we heal all relations, and so it is. The circle's open and unbroken, blessed be. So as you're going to your car, going home, just feel the sacredness of the earth as you walk on it. You know that Mother Earth is just radiating love to us all the time. And if we slow down enough, we can feel it. And we can hear it, we can sense it coming out of the trees and communing with the animals that you have or don't have, others' animals, children. Any questions or things you want to add?
That's very beautiful.
Sometimes we think we have to hold on to those things that aren't good enough to give to God, give to our own divine consciousness, and that's not true. Give up things that have stumbled us over and over again. Just give them up And soon you'll get the answer, you'll find the way. It's really simple, so much simpler than we make it. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.